a question. May I?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Ask the gentleman who made this film.
Yes!
How many people did you guys interview? Because I know you interviewed actors and agents and sound engineers and all different kinds of people, but tell us a little bit about the different kinds of people and how many people you interviewed.
Yeah, don't screw it up, Larry. Is it on?
Yes.
See, he's not a voice actor.
He's not a voice actor.
And that's all I have to say about that.
So we did over 100 interviews, 150 was it?
Wow.
They were at least an hour long, if not longer, but they went by so fast. Each one was amazing. They were like master classes, really. The question about how do you learn about this craft, try to make a movie about it, you'll learn a whole lot. We interviewed directors like Andrea here, and I learned just how much goes into coaching voice actors, and I don't know, I'm trying to draw a blank here. I'm not used to talking to this many people.
We'll do your voice for you.
What we try to do is really cover the whole voiceover industry for everyone who doesn't really know what goes on behind the scenes. And the documentary started in October 2011, and for a good year, we had to wait to get these talents in the opportunity to interview them, because it just takes so long and everyone's busy doing stuff and everything. So to actually wrangle 150 people was a very difficult task, and it was even more so trying to get it down to a movie that can entertain, enlighten, and inspire all you guys. So right now, I think that we have it right under 90 minutes, and we basically cover everything that we think from Mel Blanc, the start of radio voiceover, to today's video games and the powers of Comic-Con. I think we pretty much cover it all.
Anime we cover.
Yeah, like 160 hours worth of footage to 90 minutes.
Jesus. I think the biggest thing we cover is just the evolution of the art form and how it's grown so much from just like radio plays back in the 40s to a highly evolved art form today that just is complemented with technology. It's just an amazing art form.
I've never seen a documentary like that. About that. I've never seen that.
Well, you will.
Now you can.
As soon as we get a distributor.
You do a Kickstarter, kid.
Yeah, right? Kickstarter.
By the way, wearing a t-shirt that says "Keep Calm and Voiceover On." Did you notice that?
Keep calm and voiceover on?
Yeah, baby. Nice.
That's pretty cool. What's your question?
First off, my name is Craig, and before I get started, I just want to say thank you guys very much for making my childhood not only full of light, but full of color, happiness, and all sorts of fun.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Ultimate compliment. Thank you.
Yeah, and this one is for Miss Romano over here. On top of being an aspiring voiceover artist, I'm also planning to become a casting director myself. What is your number one advice before I go on and embark on this journey?
Cast yourself a lot.
Right, just make sure that your demo and your help is paid up by putting yourself in like a talking egg in a movie or whatever, and then you get your stuff paid for. Yeah.
Only listen to the first audition.
So your question is, what do I suggest as far as becoming a casting director? Is that your
in order to be a good one, someone at your
I'll tell you. Create an environment for people when they come in to audition for you that is comfortable, that they feel safe, that they can create, that they can make an absolute fool of themselves, because that is in fact what we're paying money for, is for people to be foolish. And supply everybody, talent-wise, with as much information as you can, so by the time they walk in the door, they've done their homework. They've seen the character design, they've read the description, they've looked at the script, or the copy that they're given. But that, I think, is key, so that by the time people get in front of me, they're well prepared. But that issue of having a comfortable space where people feel like, can I try something else? Of course you can try something else. Just dive in and do it, but do it fast, because there's 30 other people waiting. But I think that's key, is providing a safe environment.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Good luck. Thank you.
Rob Paulsen? Rob? How's your microphone working?
Mine?
Yeah.
Cutting out. But hire me all of Angeles, and now can microphone doesn't work? You know, I'm Kenny, his is fine, Hadley Baker, but mine, my ass, you know? Shucks.
Next question.
Hi, I'm Grayson. I was wondering, do you have fun doing roles that are kind of outside of your own norm? Like, John, you play kind of characters that have a similar voice and are kind of, you know, funny, but you also did the Joker in Under the Red Hood, and whether you and everyone else there, you know, kind of has fun breaking from the norm.
Oh, absolutely. The more we can break from the norm, the more fun it is. The more of a challenge it is. That's what you want to do as an actor.
Yeah.
You want the challenge. You want to be able to challenge yourself to get to that place. And that's always a thrill. That's the thrill of acting. To be standing on the edge of it. You're like, there's a thrill in it. You know, as far as creating the character is concerned. So it's always, I mean, at least that's the way I
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, one of the things that I like the most, and virtually, well, everybody, including Andrea, has a theatrical background, has a show business performance background. And the great thing about this is not being limited to being an average-looking white guy, one of the things that I get hired for.
Yeah.
I love the fact that I am hired for things with my voice that I would never be considered for on camera. So, yeah, that's great. I agree.
I get the opportunity to, you know, just whip out my Tracy Morgan every once in a while, and it works. I'm telling you right now, John DiMaggio is my cousin. We got the same arms. You know, you get to play. That's it, you know.
There was and when you book something, like when you book something that's outside your usual comfort zone, like I usually play this kind of guy and this kind of guy and sometimes this kind of guy, but then sometimes you'll just audition for something that's really outside the bounds of what you usually play, and you know, that's really fun. But then when you book it, you almost feel like you got away with something.
Yeah.
I feel like I conned somebody, you know what I mean? Like I did a great short con on the boardwalk, you know?
Well, D was like that with Clone Wars. I remember it was like...
It's actually it's inverted for me because I felt weird doing a normal role. Because the clones...
wasn't crazy.
Yeah, the clones were really straight ahead normal, and I had never done that in a show, and it felt very odd. I never would have thought to cast myself as that, and it felt really odd at first to do that. But you know, happily with voice acting, you get a chance to stretch those acting muscles much further than you ever would be able to on camera, I think.
3 words: Klaus the Fish. Unbelievable.
And that's a great example of you going in there and giving them something different than what they were looking for, right, Dave?
Yeah, exactly. You don't always give them exactly what they say they want, because maybe what your understanding of it is better than what they think they want. Klaus the Fish, An American Dad, was originally written as a French fish, and I auditioned him as a German fish. It's like Francois the Fish, and you know, bonsoir and all this, but my version of it, which I liked better, was as a German fish. And so I gave them that, and they tried to recast me, and I said, I'm still not going to read it as a French fish, and so they kept me. So sometimes the lesson for me is that sometimes you really got to stick by your creative guns, and if you go down in that battle, then you do it for the right reason. But you give them your best, and not your second best, but you give them your best. And if they don't like it, that's fine. But stick with that, and that'll get you somewhere.
It's every time he does the German accent, I feel like I've watched German porn and I need to go take a shower. It
kills me. Wir machen alles zusammen.
Yeah!
You notice we all kind of glitch.
Yeah, we're all like, yeah.
Love that so much.
Do it again.
You're freaky, dude. Next question, please.
Okay,
Sure.
I don't know when the last time any of you actually recorded a demo, but when you went in to record your demo, did you have everything planned out, like every character you would read and every word you would say, or would you just go crazy and play the whole time?
You know what? Your demo should only be about 90 seconds, tops.
Or less.
Or less, maybe even 60. Do stuff in short, have stuff in short bursts, have them completely contrast, like between each voice, between each character that you do.
Not just in voice, but style, too.
Yes, exactly. And less is more. Nobody has time to listen to a 5-minute demo. You know?
And it's got to show you can act. It's not just do a funny voice. It's not just doing a funny voice. It's showing you
imitating other people too. You don't necessarily want to just do a popular voice. You want to do ones that are your own too.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to put a demo together for 22 years. I've never gotten around to it. I've never had one. It's like, there's enough stuff out there. Just go listen to it, and if you don't like it, don't. You know, it's okay if you don't like it.
There's a lot. I've heard a couple of demos in my tenure. You mentioned short bursts, and there's some value to that, but there also, it needs to be, each clip needs to be long enough that we can tell that you can sustain the voice. Because I have heard very, very good short clips, brought that person in, asked them to do some copy in that voice, and they're good for a line, and then the voice just goes away. So it needs to be long enough that I know that you can do it, and really key is acting. Acting. Great that you can do, if you can only do 3 voices, if you're great at them and you can act really well, you'll get work doing those. You don't have to be able to do 37 voices, 150 voices. Nobody can do 150 voices. But I think it's got to be
so modest.
Dialects, if you do dialects, 1 or 2 on your demo. If you sing, sing in character, because that's really important. You may have a great legitimate voice, but you can't sing as that tiny little French mouse that you're playing in that voice, so you need to be able to sing in character. And I'd say, my guess is that will take 90 seconds. You will ultimately, once you get an agent, need a 60-second clip which goes on Voice Bank, and that's what everybody will listen to, that goes in to just get a sample of your voice. And anybody will listen to 60 seconds. But having listened to 1 million demos in my life, I'll tell you, after about 60 seconds, it does start to just, the interest wanes.
Starts to turn into a fart.
And smell like one.
Yes. But after that amount of time, 60 seconds, it's not that you're disinterested or that you're going, it's like you have the wherewithal to know, I think I can hear this person's range of what they can do. Like, you've heard
that's absolutely valid.
And my point about that is, don't save the best stuff that you do to the end of your demo. Make sure that you start with your strongest stuff.
Because the first voice usually gets cast.